Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash, big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. Our movie begins with two employees in a company, and they are the only two who haven't turned into zombies yet. They are confused about what is happening in their company. One of the employees holds a stick for self-defense and uses it to fend off any attacking zombies. Together, they run to escape the company and save their lives. However, they find all the doors locked. Luckily, they spot a car nearby. The male employee takes the stick from his female colleague, helps her get into the car, and locks it. He tries to fight off the zombies, but their numbers are overwhelming. He climbs onto the car, but when he notices the zombies are about to break into the car, potentially harming his colleague, he jumps down, fights some of them, but unfortunately, the sheer number of zombies overpowers him. He is attacked and turned into a zombie as he screams in agony. The story then takes us back 20 hours earlier, when the city was still free of zombies or monsters, and people were living their normal lives. We see a group of thieves with their faces covered, breaking into a warehouse filled with valuable accessories. They quickly pack the stolen goods into bags and prepare to leave. However, one of them hears a strange noise near the warehouse. When he investigates, he finds a feral cat that attacks him, leaving a large bite mark on his neck. Despite the pain, his colleague urges him to stay quiet and leave immediately. They manage to escape and stash the stolen goods in their car. As they prepare to flee, the bitten thief starts experiencing strange symptoms, making involuntary facial movements. He tries to act normal, but his colleague notices something is off. The bitten thief, whose name we learn is Wong, doesn't respond when called. His colleague steps out to check on him, only to be shocked by Wong's transformation. His appearance has drastically changed, with massive fangs emerging. Wong attacks his colleague, biting him in the same manner as the cat did. Unable to resist, the colleague pushes Wong into a lake, but not before Wong has consumed most of his neck's flesh. Now, there are two dangerous individuals in the city capable of turning an entire population into zombies. We learn from the fast-paced sequence of events that we are in the era of diseases and quarantine, specifically the COVID-19 pandemic. It is revealed that those who received the new COVID-19 vaccine exhibited strange symptoms. At one point, the vaccine was tested on cats, which were then discarded after showing controversial symptoms. The movie rewinds to the beginning of the day, where we see the same male employee we mentioned earlier. He wakes up to the loud noise of a TV channel reporting on the dangers of COVID-19, especially on a day like this. We learn that it's New Year's Eve, and he begins his day with some push-ups before heading out. He boards a bus to Seoul, where his company is located, holding tickets to a New Year's Eve party. He seems very excited about the event. Meanwhile, Wong appears in Seoul, eating raw meat and shocking everyone around him. People film him and post videos online, making him a trending topic. The police arrive after receiving a complaint from a butcher who reports that Wong stormed into his shop, took all the raw meat, and ate it. The police are baffled by the case and ask Wong to get into their car. However, Wong runs away at incredible speed, leaving everyone stunned. Back to the male employee, who is on the bus when his mother calls him, urging him to stay home due to the risk of catching COVID-19, especially in the crowded capital city of Seoul. However, he dismisses her concerns, explaining that this day is very special to him and could change his life. His mother suspects he has a girlfriend and plans to spend the day with her, but he gets annoyed at her assumptions. He insists that his life in Seoul is better than farming in their village. While on the phone, he accidentally bumps into Wong, who is running. The collision causes his phone to fall and break. The employee demands compensation, but Wong, now fully consumed by his transformation, ignores him. The employee is puzzled by Wong's behavior. At that moment, the female employee we mentioned earlier appears. Her name is revealed to be Min Ji-yeon. She is arguing with two young men and their friends. The argument stems from the fact that the men had drugged her friend and attempted to abduct her. Min Ji-yeon threatens to call the police and warns them about the country's strict laws against violence towards women. The men mock her, sarcastically asking if she would be their lawyer in their next case. Before the situation escalates, her male colleague intervenes, asking the men to leave peacefully. However, one of them slaps him, provoking the employee to warn them that they might get away with it once, Zrania, but not a second time. When the men try to attack him, he skillfully defends himself, giving them a thorough beating, forcing them to flee. The lenient one responds to him coldly. Not too bad, just indifferent. She walks away and leaves him. In the company where Len and they work, we see a character that owns the building where all the company's offices are located. We will call her the Old Witch. This woman doesn't respect anyone. When Len and he enter their company building, he chases after Len, who is indifferent to him. He asks her if she's free today because he booked her a ticket to the Christmas party with him. But Len isn't interested and tells him to find someone else to go with him. She also tells him that sleeping in bed is better than the boredom he's talking about. She walks away again, leaving him behind. He chases after her again, and it seems, but this time, before he could catch up, the old witch stopped him. She finds out that the clown, her boss, hasn't paid the rent for 3 months. He informs her that he hasn't been paid his salary for even longer than that, but she told him that you're already poor and worthless. She tells him to tell the clown boss, who doesn't answer phone calls, to pay the rent. He doesn't care about her insults and is more concerned about reaching the office before her. He apologizes and continues running. At that moment, the old witch becomes furious at him for daring to leave without her permission. She instructs the guard to evict them from the office and close it down if the overdue rent isn't paid in the coming days. When he reaches his office, he finds it locked and doesn't see any employees inside. But then we see someone dressed as a zombie attacking him. Afterward, he gives the zombie-dressed person a kick. Then the company owner appears, and we see him filming the scene. We learn that the company is a production company, and their profit comes from YouTube views. This was a prank by the company owner, recording it behind Hyun's back. He asks Hyun how he felt when he saw the zombie in front of him. Hyun doesn't care and tells him to turn off the video before he gets upset. He says this isn't the kind of work they should be doing, especially on such an important day. Later, Hyun goes to the guy he kicked and checks on him. From his belly, he recognizes him as his old friend, Dayun. Hyun embraces his dear friend and tells him he's waiting for him for lunch. Inside the company, Len is editing Hyun's video to upload it. The company owner bothers her, and Hyun notices what's happening. He decides to help her and takes his friend Dayan with him to make him do the talking. He goes to the company owner and informs him that Dayan wants to hold a meeting. But at that moment, Dayan doesn't know how to respond when the boss asks about the meeting's topic. Len realizes they came to help her and answers the question, saying the meeting is about finding ways to increase viewership rates. The meeting begins, and Len shows her boss the video that achieved the highest viewership that month. She also informs him about the revenue at the end of the month, which is very low and insufficient to pay employees' salaries. At that moment, the old witch calls them, but the boss cancels her call. He remembers the rent he's supposed to pay but hasn't yet. He tells the employees that by the end of the next month, they need to create funny videos to cover the rent. Len suggests that the solution is to create new and creative content that no one has done before. The boss is smoking, which is against the old witch's rules. Hyun threatens him, saying he'll report it to her. The boss kicks him and his colleague out of the meeting room. As he gets closer to the company, Hyun keeps looking at it, sensing and smelling the presence of humans inside. He drives the company car to the entrance and describes the driver as foolish for parking in such a spot. He reverses the car and passes by him. When he sees the car entering the company, he follows it inside. He goes into the company and asks Len to talk privately. Len is surprised by his request but agrees to step outside with him. Outside, he teaches her self-defense moves since he used to be a taekwondo player. He tells her she shouldn't be afraid to confront her boss. He also explains that she could involve the police. He confesses that he always feels the urge to defend her whenever he sees the boss bothering her, but he's puzzled by her silence and acceptance of the situation, considering her personality isn't weak. She explains to him that she struggled a lot to get this job. To move to another company, she needs experience. This is the only company that accepted her after she applied everywhere. She also reveals that she needs every penny to support her family. She thanks him for his words and his attempt to help her, but insists that this is her problem, Zrania, and she'll solve it when the time is right. At that moment, her boss calls her, asking her to come to his office. She agrees to go but requests Hyun to accompany her. She doesn't want to go alone. When they enter, the boss informs them about an incident near their company involving a supernatural being they couldn't identify. He scolds them, saying they should have been the first to film the incident, not other platforms. When Hyun hears this, he tells his colleague that he saw it in the morning on his way to work. After a while, a delivery worker arrives to deliver their orders. The delivery guy clearly dislikes the company boss. The moment the boss notices the delivery guy, he hides under his desk, as the delivery guy often complains about the boss's excessive orders and lack of tips. As soon as the delivery guy enters and smells the boss's scent, he becomes furious. But Hyun stops him, claiming the boss isn't there. The delivery guy, however, is certain the boss is present. Hyun escorts him out forcefully, telling him that soon the boss will pay him and everyone else. As the delivery guy leaves, he smells something strange. It's clear that his sense of smell is very strong. This is because there's something truly odd and supernatural right behind him. The zombie Wang, who attacks his prey mercilessly. The delivery guy becomes the first victim of the zombie in the company. Chaos is about to unfold now that they've become one more in the company. Meanwhile, the old witch appears again, unaware of what's happening outside the bathroom she's in. And this is because she was insulting the men in charge because she didn't like the bathroom mirror. She demands an immediate apology from them, and after they apologize, she throws her papers in their faces for no apparent reason. She orders them to pick everything up from the ground, and at that moment she hears a strange sound outside the bathroom. She goes out and sees the shock. She quickly calls security and orders them to lock all the doors and declare a state of emergency until they kill these strange creatures in her company. But it seems like it's too late. Most of the company's employees, if not all, have turned into zombies. They spare no human in front of them. She's running and knocking on every office, but no one opens for her until she reaches Hyun's photography office, and they help her by opening the door for her. She informs them that they are oblivious to what's happening outside. She shows them a picture of the zombie she saw on their television screen and tells them that this is the monster that turned all the building employees into monsters. She tells them that they are the only ones left in their natural state, and that if they manage to kill them, she will waive the overdue rent. But Lin wants to notify the police, and the old witch doesn't agree because it would harm the building's reputation. The company director is thrilled when he learns she will waive the rent and orders all the employees to grab their cameras and film. They actually go out through the external staircase and head to the second floor, cautiously opening the door. They are shocked to find every employee eating one another, and there isn't a single human who hasn't fallen prey to the zombies. One of the zombies notices them and sees them as prey, but Hyun manages to shut the door on him and escapes. They quickly head back to the floor they were on, where they encounter something even more terrifying than what they saw before. The zombie that seems to be the root of all these disasters. But our protagonist, Hyun, is more dangerous than any zombie, using his taekwondo moves to fight. However, Fung catches his friend Dai and sees him as prey, and at that moment, Hyun is unable to save him. Unfortunately, Dai is bitten by the most dangerous zombie. They run back to their office and lock themselves in, while Lin starts mumbling nonsense. She jumps around and finds a zombie next to her, biting her. Hyun steps outside the company, who was fighting the zombie and defeating it. But outside, there was also a zombie, the master, running to attack its prey. The prey turns out to be the company director, who is hiding behind Lin, filming and only caring about the views he will get. He sees him and pulls Lin to stand beside him, making him the prey. The company director is indeed bitten. Now, only Lin and Wong remain as humans, not zombies. They find a room to hide in, still in shock over what's happening. When Lin falls asleep, she dreams of a nightmare where she's alone without Hyun, and the zombies turn her into a monster like them. When she wakes up from the dream, she asks Hyun to do something and get her out of there. Hyun tells her he has a plan to escape the cursed place. He looks at a cassette tape in the room, and his plan is to place the cassette in the middle of the building, turn the music up to the highest volume, Izrania, and lure all the zombies to it. This way, they will move away from all the floors and only gather at the cassette's location. Hyun executes his plan, and it works. On their way back to the office, Hyun encounters his friend Dai, who is now turned into a zombie and sees him as prey. Lin also encounters her company director, who has also become a zombie, and attacks her. At that moment, Lin remembers the self-defense moves she was taught. She applies them immediately, hitting him with her stick. She also hits Dai with the stick after Hyun hesitates to attack his friend. She tells him that his friend Dai is gone, and what he sees now is a monster. Hyun and Lin reach their office and try to call the police, but they find that none of the phones, not even the landline, are working. Suddenly, they see Wong in front of them again, clearly determined to make them his prey. But Hyun defeats him this time, knocking him out completely, making them suspect he's dead. They leave the office and decide to leave the building altogether. At this point, the events that started at the beginning of the movie unfold. Hyun and Lin running from all the zombies in the company until they find a car. Hyun helps Lin get inside, fighting off the zombies until they attack him. We think he's dead, but Lin gets out of the car and attacks all the zombies with a fire extinguisher, managing to save Hyun. They finally leave the company and reach the garage. However, there they find Wong and the old witch waiting for them. Wong, as usual, gets beaten up by Hyun and falls silent. The old witch shocks them by biting Hyun in the leg, making him believe he will soon turn into a zombie. He tells Lin to leave him before he harms her when he transforms. He finally confesses his love for her, saying romantic words he won't regret because he knows he's dying. He pushes her away from him against her will, but as he walks toward the old witch, he notices something strange. The old witch had fake teeth, and what bit him wasn't zombie fangs. He looks at his leg and finds no bite marks. He feels utterly embarrassed for what he said to Lin earlier. He pretends nothing happened and walks with Lin out of the building. The movie ends with Hyun beating up Wong again, and the rest of the transformed employees leave the company. The city of Seoul is now in greater danger than the COVID-19 pandemic, and this danger might soon spread to all countries worldwide. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks for watching.